It is getting uglier every single day, and I say that every single day because it's the truth. Not only do we no longer have Mr. Chuba Hubbard, but Brock Bowers may be in question as well. Let's go through and let's look at everything that's currently out right now. So Deebo Samuel's going to play week 5. Obviously, Deebo Samuel's status was a concern. He missed practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Deebo, you probably can put him in your lineup because if you look at Jaden Daniels is also going to be playing week 5. Now, Brock Bowers did not practice on Friday, and we get a quote from Bowers himself. It says, "I want to be back going to full speed, being able to separate from guys. I feel like I can't really do that to the best of my abilities right now." If you have Bowers and you wanted to roster another tight end, I'm not going to fault you for it at all. So Baker Mayfield didn't practice with the biceps injury. Same thing as he was dealing with last week, but he's not listed on the injury report anymore. Baker Mayfield going to be fully good to go. Dimey Brown, doesn't matter. It's not like you're playing Travis Hunter anyway. Joe Alt officially listed as out. He's not playing next week either. I don't know why we have to get that update. Cowboys ruled out for week 5. Left tackle, guard, Lamb, Turpin, safety. We have Miles Sanders and Jonathan Mingo both listed as questionable. I was kind of operating under the assumption that Miles Sanders wasn't going to play, but I will say if Turpin's out, I wouldn't play Jalen Tolbert unless you were in the deepest of leagues and you are extremely desperate, but hopefully Jalen Tolbert does something for some best ball teams. Let's go ahead. Lamar Jackson officially not playing week 5. That does not surprise many people. Dallas Goedert not listed on the injury report for week 5. I plan on playing Dallas Goedert over TJ Hawkinson myself. So the Eagles right tackle not listed on the injury report for week 5. Thank God, as I'm putting Saquon Barkley into my lineup, and we need this Eagles offense to be better than they were last week. Tajee Spears listed as questionable for week 5. I am really hoping that Spears does not play as somebody who has to play Tony Pollard in their second flex spot. But we just frankly have no idea because Tajee Spears was at practice. He was practicing in a limited capacity pretty much all week. So I would not be surprised whatsoever if Tajee Spears is out there and all of a sudden Tony Pollard is just a literal zero. Brandon Ayuk unlikely to have 21-day practice window opened next week. So sucks. I know nobody here is really banking on Ayuk, but I was waiting on him for some basketball teams, hoping that he was going to do something for us. Looks like that's not happening. George Kittle considered a long shot to return in week 6. What the hell? I mean, the hamstring report was initially reported that he was going to be missing like 2 to 3 weeks when it popped up. Then obviously he goes on the IR. I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, okay, well, at least he'll come back week 6. If he's a long shot to come back week 6, I don't even know if maybe we don't even get him until like week 8. Again, we already talked about Bowers. Taysom Hill, Foster Moreau, if these guys play, Jawan Johnson's going to be a little bit less exciting. Calvin Ridley, questionable for week 5. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to play with the hamstring. The Cardinals situation, the quote we're getting with their running backs is we'll see. They'll all have their roles. So it sounds like it's going to be a 3-man running back by committee. Alec Pierce ruled out for week 5. The quote earlier in the week with the coach in Indy saying, we'll see if Adonai Mitchell is going to play in week 5 based off what that fool did in week 4. Jalen Coker will have 21-day practice window opened, so drop any wide receiver that you have in Carolina not named Tet McMillan. Chuba Hubbard officially ruled out, so as soon as we saw this happen, I ran my little butt over to flockfantasy.com, and we got the rankings updated for all of y'all. So these are my week 5 rankings, I believe. Yes, we have Rico Dowdle here at RB21. Inside the same tier with Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne, Rashad White, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker. I would start Rico Dowdle over Dobbins, Pollard, Woody Marks, David Montgomery, and Michael Carter. So, yes, Dowdle looking like you're probably going to have to start him because it's a great matchup going up against the Miami Dolphins. I actually pulled up his underdog pick'em to see that the projections are really high on Rico Dowdle. Like Rico Dowdle at the moment is projected higher, lower 82.5 total yards. He's projected higher, lower 13.15 fantasy points. To give you a baseline comparison, Derrick Henry at the moment is projected at higher lower 14.35. So the difference in projections between Rico Dowdle and Derrick Henry is like a 1.2 points. So realistically, you're probably going to be starting this dude. Now, let's move this over to our next update. Noah Fant's going to play week 5. It's not like you were looking at playing Mike Gesicki anyway with how bad that offense is in Cincy. Bucky Irving ruled out for week 5, so I'm jamming in Rachaad White if you have him. Jaden Blue likely to be active. Braylon Allen expects to miss 8 to 12 weeks, so we won't see Braylon Allen again this season, at least fantasy season, that is. And then Chuba Hubbard, calf considered week to week. Team doesn't plan to place him on the IR. So the way that this sounds is it sounds like Chuba Hubbard obviously is not playing this week, but there's a real shot that he misses next week as well. So, I mean, if you picked up Dowdle off of free agency today, great pickup. It does look like Dowdle could be a must-start running back in back-to-back weeks here for you. Let's see if we have anything. The Brock Purdy toe injury, we already talked about all that yesterday. Now, I think that's all we have for the injury updates. We obviously need to submit some starting lineups. We need to confirm some trades. We'll talk about all of that. But I do want to remind y'all that if you wanted to take advantage of the current offer on Underdog, it's the best I've ever seen, and I've been with them for 5 years. If you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you are going to be getting $100 added to your account. Not only will you get $100 added to your account, but you are also going to get free questions to ask in these live streams. And you'll see that the vast majority of questions that I answer here every single night, where I'm streaming every single day answering fantasy football questions until Christmas, are the free ones by people taking advantage of the Underdog deal. So use code FLOCK, get $100 added to your account after you play your first 5. Underdog Fantasy is available in almost every single state. And on top of that, I believe it's a free Drake May pick that you'll get as well. Let me just confirm what that is. I know we have a screenshot. Yes, it is. It is a Drake May gimme pick that you'll get as well with code FLOCK. Drake May, higher, lower, half a total yard. But you can find that link in the description. It's in the comment section, and it will be in the live chats. But I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And let's go ahead and let's dive into the teams. And let me know when we hit 200 likes on the stream, and we'll go ahead and we'll send out a couple people some free questions. And then from there, we'll do every 100 likes. Okay. Now, let's move this to Chase Wins. Says, drafted Malik at 10. Any recommendations on trades or pickups? So let's pull this over. So if we have no Malik anymore, I will say the good news with it is it's a league in which you only start 2 receivers, 1 flex. So the depth isn't going to be super, super important. The next thing is we are second in this league in points scored with 509. Now, the bad part of this is we somehow are 2-2. So I guess maybe you just had one big blow up. Now, going ahead and looking at what we have at quarterback, I will say that for me, assuming this is a 1 QB league, I would easily cut Jackson Dart. I don't want to be rostering 3 quarterbacks here. I would opt to just have Drake May and Jordan Love. So I would love Jackson Dart with the rushing upside if he had Malik Neighbors and we saw some upside there. But Jackson Dart has a hamstring injury. Now you have Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton as your top 2 wide receivers. I'm fine moving on from him and playing the matchups between Drake May and Jordan Love. Now going over and looking at what we have at running back. We have Amari Hampton, Javonte Williams as 2 trustworthy starters both in the short and long term. We have Rashad White as a trustworthy starter in the short term. I would actually throw him in the flex spot this week. And then long-term upside, you are sitting with like Eric Jones, Dermicado, Tajay Spears, and Isaiah Davis all on our bench. So if we were looking at waiver wire pivots that you could have at this point, I'm completely fine with you holding on to Isaiah Davis here. Realistically, maybe I need to move him up our rankings just a bit. I think Dylan Sampson's a better player. I don't know if Breece Hall's much worse than Quinshon Judkins. So for me, like maybe you could talk me into Dylan Sampson over Isaiah Davis, but realistically, it's just going to be up to you in that range. Going over to wide receiver. I know Xavier Scott is actually, I don't know. I mean, I would just go ahead. I'd cut him. I don't really see the upside for you to ever put him in your starting lineup, especially under the context that it's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. Like even if like you wanted a wide receiver here, I would rather have Josh Downs at the bottom end of this bench, but you still have JSN, Nico Collins that we're jamming in every week at the wide receiver position. Then we have Olave as a quality depth piece. It looks like Stephon Diggs is expanding his role, and you still have some upside for Brandon Ayuk later on. So in terms of waiver wire pivots, I would cut Jackson Dart. I would cut Scott. I would pick up Downs, and I would pick up Zach Ertz. Obviously, we need a tight end that we can start here in the short term. Unless maybe your league is a weird one in which you don't need to play a tight end. If you don't need to play a tight end and it's a start 7 format, then in that case, you know what? Our team's going to be a little bit worse because we actually, in that case, would have 2 flex spots. The reason I'm thinking we may not have to play a tight end here is we go ahead and we look at 2 teams in your league that don't have tight ends, and then we have nobody outside of George Kittle, and obviously we haven't been able to play George Kittle for a while. So in that case, you don't pick up Zach Ertz. In that case, you drop Jackson Dart and you drop Xavier Scott, and instead we pick up Josh Downs and like Dylan Sampson. But I would actually say that the depth is going to be a lot shakier if you have to play a second flex. Like you can get up to 4 wide receivers in your starting lineup here weekly, which would make it that much more important for us to drop Jackson Dart and pick up somebody like Josh Downs. But realistically, I mean, I wish I had some like massive trade for you to make here. But like you're starting Hampton, Javonte, Rashad White, JSN, Nico, Olave. We don't really have any expendable value down there on the bench. Like if you wanted to go through and try to move George Kittle in a 2-for-1 deal to upgrade at wide receiver over Chris Olave, if this is a league where you don't have to start a tight end, let's go for it. But I'd be skeptical that you're going to get a ton of value for George Kittle under those scenarios or under those circumstances. So that would be the trade if there is one for you. But in my mind, like, and I know we talked about this a lot in the live stream yesterday with the Malik Neighbors teams that got sent in. And it's very boring because, like, obviously when you send in a team, I really want to make some trades. I really want to have some, like, big suggestions. But I don't want to, like, say things just to say things. I would rather try to do my very best in terms of giving you actual advice that I would do on my own team. And unless you're, like, desperate for depth, I would say typically if you lose Malik Neighbors, like your main goal should be just trying to hit on players off waivers. Like you're not really in a position where all of a sudden we have a lot of expendable value where we can go making trades. Outside of the obvious instances where you can just trade one guy like Chris Olave for somebody that's just clearly higher in the rest of season rankings. Like if you can go through and send Chris Olave and get back Cortland Sutton, get back Devontae Adams, then obviously I will, but you don't need me to tell you that. So structurally, I just think you make those 2 waiver wire pivots. But I really appreciate you and really hope that I was able to help you out in some way with this. And yeah, thank you again so much for being a member of the flock, my guy. Now let's move this over to our next question. It's going to be from DK Jones. It says, need to consult Commissioner Mason. We're 3-1, feel light in the running back room. Got offered a trade for Rome, and I received Jamar Chase and Jerry Jeudy. Thinking about holding off. Okay, so here's the thing with your league. Your league's a very deep one. Like, Jerry Jeudy may actually be a starter in your type of league. I'm thinking about holding off Bigger trades for better running backs. What are your thoughts? Trying to take my league mates' money this year. I really appreciate you, my friend. And I may actually have to go ahead and look up your team name on another screen. So as I do this, we're actually also going to be giving out some free questions in the live chat. We just hit 200 likes in the stream. So I want to remind y'all, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream, drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and we'll send out some free questions to a couple of y'all. But let's first stall as we wait for y'all to get those in to check out and just triple check what DK's team here is. But this is Dr. Foosball. All right, we are 7th in the league analyzer. This is a start 9 format, so having the additional starters here is actually going to be very relevant for us. But let me go ahead and send out 2 free questions to some people, my friend, and then we will get right back to this. So flock users, let's send this to It's Migom. It's Mig. Just found you on the site and just sent you over a free start set question. Really appreciate you hanging out with us in this live stream. And let's send this next one out to This Is Me. This is me. Just found you, just sent you over a free start set. And one last thing I actually need to bring up, just in case y'all did not see, because again, the fiance will kill me if we have thousands of hats sitting in our living room for the next year. If you are a paid member of the site, for the love of God, go fill out this free merch giveaway. I think we only have like 600 responses at this point, and I freaking ordered 2,500 hats. So I need people to send these to. Fill out the Google form, please, so I can go ahead and send you over a hat. Literally all it needs is the email address you have on the site so we can confirm that you're a paid member, and then your address of where we're sending the hat to, and then you grade each hat so we can try to get you what you like best. But and yes, if you have the season pass, go ahead and fill it out. I can't guarantee that you get it with the season pass, but if nobody fills it out and you fill it out with the season pass, then you're getting one. And I'll let you know, it costs us a hell of a lot more money than $34 for the hats, getting you access to the site, and shipping everything out. So we're actually losing money on the season pass at that point, but it's already sunk money if I bought the hats anyway. But anyway, let's go through and let's dive into this. So this is start 9 format, right? So I'm going to assume that the league analyzer is correct here. And this is a league where you start like 3 wide receivers and 2 flex spots. And in that instance, if we fill out this starting lineup, you have like Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown in at running back, wide receiver. Most weeks you have London, Rome, Waddle. Flexes, you have Woody Marks and Keenan Allen. Now, obviously, you're going to go into weeks where you have Drake London and Rome Odunze on bye. So your wide receiver room is going to be like Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, Keon Coleman, like Darius Slay. It's going to get ugly, right? The point of it is depth actually matters in a league like yours, even if we got one starting lineup spot wrong, where a player like Jerry Jeudy could actually hit your lineup. Now, we have the elite level quarterback with Jalen Hurts. You love to see it. I will say that Jalen Hurts is a little bit less important in a league like this as opposed to what he would be in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league where the depth doesn't matter at all. Running back, we have Jonathan Taylor, so we have the elite guy. Then we have 2 okay running backs that we could start with Chase Brown and Woody Marks that we're not that excited about, but they're there. Wide receiver, London, I'm excited to have him as my wide receiver 1. Rome, I'm ecstatic to have him as my wide receiver 2. Waddle, I'm okay with him as my wide receiver 3. Keenan, I'm happy to have him as my wide receiver 4. So we're okay at wide receiver. Now, going over and looking at what we have at tight ends, garbage. We have Mark Andrews. So this is a little bit of an interesting setup in terms of, I understand, especially as we go through these buys, if you are playing in that deeper league where it is something like you start 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes, going and down tiering from Rome Odunze to Jamar Chase and picking up the additional starter with Jerry Jeudy. Now, if you're playing in a league where you only start 2 receivers and a flex, then I have really no interest in that. Now, in terms of waiver wire pivots, like Caleb Williams is a great player to have available to you on the waiver wire. But when you have Jalen Hurts, you're starting Jalen Hurts every week regardless. Now, I'll say that realistically, Jalen Tolbert is a bad enough player that I would be fine with you dropping Jalen Tolbert and picking up Caleb Williams. Realistically, I actually don't even go there. I would drop like Darius Slayton, Jalen Tolbert, and pick up Byshell Tuten and Kenneth Walker. If you are planning on starting one of Jalen Tolbert or Darius Slayton this week, then maybe you don't make that move. But realistically, I think the running backs give you more long-term upside. And realistically, I would drop Jalen Tolbert for Josh Downs anyway. And then for me, with the Terry McLaurin injury, and the fact that you have Jaden Daniels back in, I would go ahead. I would also look to actually cut Mark Andrews in favor of Zach Ertz. Like Zach Ertz, yes, over the past 2 weeks, he hasn't been as good as what he was to start the year, but he had Marcus Mariota. So realistically, I'm going to be more excited about Zach Ertz now that you have the improvement with the quarterback play. And if we go over and if we look at what we have with Mark Andrews, like, yeah, have him getting much better over the past 2 weeks. But he played 56% of the snaps this past week. You have Isaiah Likely back now. You have no Lamar Jackson. So the offense goes from typically projecting out to be a top 5 offense in the league to now it projects to be a bottom 5 unit. So yeah, cut Andrews, pick up Ertz, cut Tolbert, pick up, if you want a running back, Byshell Tuten, if you want a wide receiver, Josh Downs. But for me, I'd probably go with Byshell Tuten. That way you could hopefully find the next guy like Woody Marks. Because realistically, you have plenty of wide receiver depth. I know the bye weeks are making it a little bit tough right now. And then in terms of the trade where you send Rome and get Jamar, I think you can do it. So if this was a league in which you only start 2 wide receivers in a flex, then yeah, I'm completely fine with you going ahead and you making a big trade for a running back. Where if you could send, say, the combination of Keenan Allen and Chase Brown to get a significant running back upgrade, I would be interested in it. But the difficulty is, again, with your league being a little bit of a deeper format, I actually like you holding on to the wide receiver depth. You have the elite level running back, and you have some RBs that can be playable at RB2 that are going to get the job done for you. So I actually kind of like the roster construction. I'll just make the waiver wire pivots, and then it's going to be up to you with the Jamar Chase deal. For me, I'll be completely honest. I probably would take it, but based off the conversations that I've had with the people in this live stream surrounding Jamar Chase, I think I'm one of the very few people who would take it. It sounds like nobody else would. It sounds like everybody else would rather have Rome Odunze than Chase and the additional wide receiver starter. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, my friend. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you over some free questions. And yeah, thank you again for everything, my guy. Okay. Now let's move this over to our next one. It's going to be from Tom. Says, hey Mason, after starting 1-3, we decided to trade Saquon, Trash Can Lad, and Ricky Pearsall for Rome, Javonte, and Kenneth Walker. Okay. Saquon to Javonte, clear downgrade. Upgrade in the 2 other spots. Trotting out A.J. Brown and Ladd every week with Jaden Daniels hurt killed me, and I'm trying to make a quick turnaround and get my team back into it. Any other suggestions? Here's the thing, man. I think in some league formats, I would have liked the deal. And I understand starting off 1-3 and seeing exactly how bad Ladd McConkey was. I get you, like, really just being fine getting rid of him for anything. But it's a 10-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. So I think I would have preferred keeping the best asset with Saquon Barkley. Now, our team's been very bad up until this point. We're dead last in this league in terms of actual points scored. Now, pulling up this roster, I'll say first things first, looking at tight ends, I don't think we want to be rostering 3 guys here, man. I would go ahead. I would cut Darren Waller. I know Caleb's on bye. I know that Jaden Daniels is playing. But based off Jaden Daniels getting injured, based on Jaden Daniels still wearing the knee brace, I would rather have the backup quarterback with Caleb than I would the third tight end with Darren Waller. So for me, I'm cutting Darren Waller. I'm picking up Caleb Williams. Running back, we have the combination of Ashton Jeanty, Kenneth Walker, and Javonte Williams. So we're effectively just going to be starting these 3 running backs weekly, right? Assuming that A.J. Brown doesn't take a dramatic step forward. I think the running backs are startable with him over him in the flex. Then we have the upside pieces with Michael Carter, Byshell Tootin, Dermicado. So with the Arizona backs, we can see what the split looks like. And if we're excited about it, then obviously we can go in with one guy and possibly start him the following week. If not, you can go ahead and you can cut him. Like, the goal here is it doesn't matter who, or I don't want to say the goal, but the hope would be that it doesn't matter who, but maybe one of these players for us, whether that's Michael Carter or Dermicado, they turn into the actual starter in Arizona. Like, if you're rostering both of them, the worst case scenario is they split the backfield 50-50. You would rather one guy crash and burn and then the other guy succeed, so we can just start the other guy and then cut the one who crashed and burned. And then wide receiver, we have Rome, we have Tet, and A.J. Brown. It's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. So realistically, the wide receiver depth's not going to matter much. And then tight end, we have Hunter Henry and Sam Laporta. So for me, if there was a world in which you could sell one of the tight ends, and maybe that's how you open up your roster spot, as opposed to you going through and cutting Darren Waller, maybe instead, if you wanted to try to, I don't know, sell Sam Laporta and Kenneth Walker to go get a running back upgrade. Because if you can sell Sam Laporta and Kenneth Walker, go get a running back upgrade, then obviously that's hitting your starting lineup. We're probably starting Hunter Henry over Sam Laporta anyway. And then we can go ahead and we can look at what we have with the open roster spot. We can pick up Caleb Williams. So if you really truly like the Darren Waller upside, we're not going to make you cut Darren Waller in that instance. So I think that's plan A for your team, is let's try to send Sam Laporta and a running back to go get an RB upgrade. I think plan B with your team is just go ahead, cut Darren Waller, pick up Caleb Williams. But regardless, we want to open up a roster spot. We want to pick up Caleb just in case Jaden Daniels it pulls a Brock Purdy where all of a sudden he plays this week and the next week he misses. And obviously Caleb would be a dramatic upgrade over any other typical waiver wire quarterback. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, my friend. And I'm going to go ahead and send you over some free questions as well. But it looks like we just hit 300 likes on the stream. So let's go ahead and let's send out some free questions in the chat. So again, to get those free questions in the live chat, all you got to do is drop a like on the stream and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and be happy to send you over those free questions. And then with that as well, you can actually get guaranteed free questions by taking advantage of the offer on Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the only sponsor of this channel. It's been that way for 5 years. Absolutely love working with them. They're available in almost every single state. And on top of that, when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting $100 added into your account after you play your first $5. And then you are going to be getting an additional Drake May free gimme pick for this weekend, higher, lower, half a total yard. Then you'll get free questions in which you can ask on these live streams. And I'm going to be live streaming every single day until Christmas. So you have plenty of opportunities to get your question in. The link's in the description and it is in the comment section. Okay. But let's go ahead and let's send out our first question. This is going to be to Decent Platter. Appreciate you hanging out with us in this stream, my friend. And let me see if I can find you on the site. Again, I can only find you on the site if you use code FLOCK when you signed up. Just found you and just sent you over a free start set question. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us in this stream. Now let's move it over to our next one. This is going to be Jason Cohen. Let's see if I can find you. Just got you. Just sent you over a free start sit question. I really appreciate you hanging out with us in this live stream as well. Okay. Now, Tom says, hey, Mason, after starting. Oh, no, we already did this team. Let's move over to our next one. It's going to be W French says, hey, Mason, currently 3-1. I know the teams are pretty set at this point, but always looking to improve and wanted to help you out. Been watching the last 2 years. We traded JSN, Jordan Mason, Harold Fan, and Daniel Jones for Amari Hampton, Lamb, and Jawan. JSN to Lamb, long-term upgrade, short-term downgrade. Jordan Mason to Amari and Hampton, absolutely smashing. Harold Fan and Daniel Jones don't matter. Love the trade. Maybe we should shop Pickens for a higher tight end. Thank you, and Hook'em. Hook'em Warren's my friend, and I absolutely love your trade. I think that's a big reason why we are probably the number one team in this league at this point. And yeah, we are right here at the very top of the league analyzer in value. We are the number one team. We are 3-1. We are third in this league in points scored. This is a 10-team format, so the expectation should be that there are decent options available on the waiver wire. But it is a start 8 league, so you can actually get a considerable amount of starters inside your starting lineup here. Now, looking at what we have at QB, we have the combination of Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields. So 2 quarterbacks that we can play the matchups with. I would play Justin Fields over Baker Mayfield myself this week, just given the matchup of the Dallas Cowboys as opposed to the Seattle Seahawks, but we're completely fine. I mean, I would say if we are absolutely loaded, you could potentially look to upgrade here at QB, which honestly, we are loaded because we go over and we look at running back. Bijan Robinson is your RB1, incredible. We're going to have a better RB1 than anybody that doesn't have McCaffrey. Amari and Hampton, RB2, incredible. We're going to have a better RB2 than almost anybody else in this league. Quinshon Judkins, RB3, incredible. We probably have a better RB3 than anybody in this league. Chase Brown, RB4, incredible. I'll have a better RB4 than anybody in this league. Woody Marks, RB5, incredible. I'll have a better RB5 than anybody in this league. So here's the thing, man. And then we go over to wide receiver. So you're first in this league with running back value. You're second in this league with wide receiver value. We have Lamb wide receiver 1, Collins wide receiver 2, Pickens wide receiver 3, Waddle wide receiver 4, Higgins wide receiver 5. You'll love to see it. I understand the gut reaction of saying like, hey, I'm 3-1. Obviously, George Pickens is an elite name right now, but that may not be the case once CeeDee Lamb comes back. Do we decide to go through and do we decide to flip Pickens and Juwan Johnson and get a better tight end? Like, I understand that thought process. But from what I see in these live streams, and keep in mind, we're answering questions. We're looking at teams constantly. So I feel like we get a pretty good grasp of everything here. But what I've been seeing consistently in these streams is that teams need running backs more than they need wide receivers. Like, realistically, if you were going to go through and if you were going to be able to make a play where we upgrade at quarterback or tight end, I think you're going to have a much easier time selling Quinshon Judkins to get to that elite level asset. That would be my expectation. So we can go through and with the league analyzer, we can actually sort by the teams that have the worst running back room in this league, because you need to make a trade with your team. Your team's too good not to make a trade. So this team here at the very bottom just lost Bucky Irving. RJ Harvey is their RB2. So like in my mind, this is a team that if I were them, I'd be doing anything I could to try to go ahead and upgrade at running back. Now, they don't really have a great wide receiver, which is good for us. We don't need a wide receiver. But they have Jaden Daniels. Is there a way that we could get Jaden Daniels from them? Because if so, sign me up. Realistically, I think the trade would look like, here's my gut offer. Here's what I send him over. And we make him reject it. I tell him, hey, I'll give you Woody Marks and Baker Mayfield. I'll give you Woody Marks and Justin Fields. I'll give you Woody Marks and Juwan Johnson. Make them reject it. If they do reject, maybe they counter. But based off how damn strong your team is, I wouldn't fault you if you're willing to go out there and sell Quinshon Judkins and one of your quarterbacks for Jaden Daniels. It's not going to impact us one way or another. Amari Hampton's our RB2. Going over and looking at what we have with the next team. This team has Dobbins as RB2, Pacheco RB3. The difficulty with this squad is They don't have a top-end quarterback. They don't have a top-end tight ends. So realistically, if we were going to make a trade with them, it's probably going to be for us to just up tier at wide receiver. But if you wanted to go through and offer like Woody Marks and George Pickens to try to get to Jefferson, let's do it, right? And then obviously be willing to go up a little bit higher than that as well. This team they're starting Justice Hill at RB2 right now. They have Lamar and Mahomes. Is there a way we can get to an injured Lamar Jackson for a long-term upgrade? Could we send Quinshon Judkins, Baker Mayfield for Lamar, play Justin Fields over the next few weeks as we wait for Lamar to come back in? That would be my play of what I'm trying to do. This team just lost Chuba Hubbard, so Tank Bigsby's now their RB3. Could we try sending them Amari and Hampton and Baker Mayfield for Josh Allen? We can clearly say, like, obviously Amari and Hampton has a ton of upside and he could be better than Josh Allen rest of season. But for your team, when you're this loaded, like, you can afford to go out there and quote-unquote overpay. They have George Kittle. Could we try sending them Chase Brown and Juwan Johnson for George Kittle? Right? Because the thing is, like, I really want to make those 2-for-1 deals because we go ahead and we look at your waiver wire. It's like, damn, DJ Moore and Rico Dowdle are out there on waivers. I would love to pick up these players, but it's like, oh, okay, well, who could we drop from our team? I would cut Byshell Tootin for Rico Dowdle at this point. I moved Rico Dowdle up to RB36 rest of season, and Tootin RB30 is RB37. But it's marginal, right? So I would love to open roster spots by making a 2-for-1 deal. I think you have plenty of depth where you can afford to go out there and get yourself an elite quarterback, get yourself an elite tight ends. And that's what we're going to try to do. And I think you're going to have an easier time selling a running back than a wide receiver. I mean, of course, you can try selling a wide receiver instead, but frankly, I just think that your league mates are going to be more interested in one of the running backs, and we can afford to sell either. But I really appreciate you. Really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and I actually already sent you over those free questions as well. So if there's anything that you want to follow up with, I would be super happy to check it out for you. Now let's move this to our next one. This is from Christos Anisti. It says, I'm 0-4. I have Lamb and Mims for Keenan and ETN. I trade them away. So here's the thing. 0-4 team. I agree we need to sell CeeDee Lamb. But there's a big but on this one. There's no way in hell our best offer is Keenan Allen and Travis Etienne. Coming from somebody who has Travis Etienne on their fantasy team, I would buy CeeDee Lamb in a heartbeat for this kind of cost. Would you make this trade, or is it too risky given where I'm at? Also, what are your thoughts generally on the team? Running back room is weak. Chase has hurt me. First in points against. Let's see. Yeah, you are first in points against. And we're not even that bad in terms of points for. We've scored more points than 3 other teams in this league. So that's kind of what's killed you. And we've already made that trade. We've already gone ahead and we've already sold CeeDee Lamb. How the hell did you have London, Chase, and Lamb all on the same team? So here's the big thing that we now need to discuss. You have no Lamar Jackson, so you're an 0-4 team, and you just saw the Lamar injury. I will say, outside of like the injuries, if you would have sent me this team before the season and you would have told me, I have Jamar Chase, I have CeeDee Lamb, I have Drake London, I have Trey McBride, I have Lamar Jackson, I would have said, GG to your league mates, they have no shot. And now we're 0-4. Now, in terms of the first thing that we do with this team, obviously we need to pick up a quarterback. We're not going to be able to go through and we're not going to be able to start Lamar Jackson this week. So quarterback available on the waiver wire. I'd probably rather have Bo Nix rest of season, but we already have a quarterback rest of season, right? So our higher priority at the moment is a quarterback that we can get into the lineup right now. And the quarterback that we could get into the lineup right now, I would actually rather have Daniel Jones over Bo Nix this week. So I would cut DeAndre Hopkins. I'll say this. That's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, man. Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins are auto cuts here. Like 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. While, yeah, Hopkins and Hollywood, they may have some random usable weeks. Good luck predicting when they'll be, and good luck getting them in your lineup. So cut Hollywood, cut DeAndre Hopkins, pick up the quarterback, Daniel Jones, pick up, I'd go for Byshell Tootin myself. Then looking at what we have at running back, like I understand making the deal for Travis Etienne, because if we didn't have Etienne here, it would have been ugly, ugly, ugly. Not going to act like it's the best running back room I've ever seen now, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better with Travis Etienne than it would have been otherwise. Now, going ahead and looking at the depth of it, I would move on from Caleb Johnson. Realistically, we just saw what Caleb Johnson's like in the instance of an injury to Jalen Warren, and he's not usable. You know who is usable? Tyler Algier, if Bijan Robinson were to go down. So cut Caleb Johnson as well. Pick up Tyler Algier. So those are 3 waiver wire pivots. Cut Hollywood, Hopkins, Caleb. Pick up Jones, Byshell Tootin, Tyler Algier. Wide receiver, we have London, Chase, Myers, Keenan. So I know obviously Chase has been killing us, but I've seen a lot of Jamar Chase trades this week, and I'm going to let you know, if you would sell Jamar Chase, you're getting nothing. And then we have the elite tight end with Trey McBride, which realistically, I think is actually a really good way to build this team, because it's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. So I completely agree that we should have gone through and we should have traded away CeeDee Lamb. I would have hoped to get a little bit more value, but I understand that this is the best we're going to get. This is the best we're going to get. We're 0-4. We have to think about how we win games right now. I would make those 3 waiver wire pivots. And then if you could sell Travis Hunter with anybody, I would, but like, I don't think anybody's buying Travis Hunter from people. Like, if you could send Hunter and David Montgomery to get a marginal upgrade at running back for a flex spot, cool. Obviously, I still believe that you do have long-term upside with Travis Hunter, but we're 0-4, so it doesn't matter to us. Now, again, I'm saying that knowing you're not going to be able to sell him for anything. You throw Travis Hunter on the trade block, your league mates are going to laugh. But I really appreciate you. Really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this. And I'm going to go ahead and send you over some free questions just in case there's anything that you want to follow up with. But I really appreciate you and hope I was able to help you out. Now, looks like we had 400 likes on the stream, so let's go ahead and let's send out some free questions. Again, to get those free questions, all you got to do will be drop a like on the live stream. You'll see in a second, we're about to spend the next 3 hours answering free questions that were submitted on the site. That's what we spend the majority of our time doing every single day, is answering those free questions. And to get them, just drop a like on the live stream, drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. And, I forgot to put up the little URL there. Drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. And we'll pick a couple of y'all. But if you wanted to get guaranteed free questions, you can do so by taking advantage of the offer on Underdog Fantasy, where if you go over to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code FLOCK, you are going to get $100 added into your account after you play your first 5. And on top of that, you're actually going to be getting free questions for these live streams. I'm live streaming every single day until Christmas, answering fantasy football questions. The majority of them are the free ones. And you'll see that you're going to get a free Drake May pick, higher, lower, half a total yard. Underdog Fantasy is available in almost every single state. And you can find that link in the description, and you can find that link in the comment section live chat as well. Now, let's send a couple questions out. We got Brown Tacos here. Let me see if I can find you on the site. And if so, we'll send you a little something. Brown Tacos just found you and just sent you over a free start sit question. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Now let's send this other one to Go Utes Tommy. I'm typing that in the YouTube live chat rather than the website. Like an idiot. Go Utes Tommy. Just found you. Just sent you over a free start sit as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us as always. I know you've been with us for a very, very long time. Okay. Now, let's check this out for somebody else who's been with us for a very long time, and this is Phoenix Lance. This is a 0.2 point per carry, half PPR, big play bonus. We've looked at this a couple times. Feeling pretty good about the team construction given the format. I know we've already talked about this, my guy, but just to remind, especially anybody else watching this, what we want to do in a point per carry, half PPR league is running backs are going to be the optimal flex. We want to be starting as many running backs as we possibly can, and having a quarterback that's going to run the ball will be massive. But any moves that you can suggest, I got you, and I'll be excited to check this out for you. Now, we are Saquon with the wins. We are second in this league analyzer when it comes to running back value and first in this league analyzer when it comes to quarterback value, which is exactly what we are wanting to see. We are second in this league in points scored, only behind the top team by 2 points. So you already know exactly what I want to do with this team. This is a perfect team for this format. This is beautiful, my friend. Let me answer this real quick. Zombie says, just signed up with Underdog with the code. Where do I get the questions? Will it come because I use the same email, or do I have to do something? So, no, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is, if you have an account on flockfantasy.com with the same email address that you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with, tomorrow morning, Underdog Fantasy is going to send me a CSV with all the email addresses that signed up with code FLOCK and made at least a $10 deposit. And then I upload that CSV to flockfantasy.com, and it accredits all those accounts that have matching email addresses with free vouchers to send in free questions in these live streams. So you won't have to do anything. But anyway, with Phoenix Lance here, again, this is a league where we want to optimize for quarterback. We want to optimize for running back. We have Josh Allen, the QB1 in fantasy, especially in a point per carry format where Allen's going to go out there and run the ball like crazy. So you absolutely love to see it. Looking at what we have when it comes to RB, we have Saquon Barkley, RB1. Love to see it in a point per carry format. We have Kenneth Walker. We can put in the flex spots Cam Scat. We have Hendo, Warren, Byshell Tuden, Kenneth Walker, Dermicado, and Tajee Spears. So we are just spamming the bench with these running backs that have the upside to turn into players that we can put into our flexes, because again, we are wanting to flex running backs as opposed to wide receivers. Love to see it. Waiver wire pivots, we don't have anything either. If you were 1 and 3, I'd say maybe we sell the rookie running backs and get somebody. Maybe we sell Trevion Henderson, get somebody that is going to give us more short-term production than long-term upside. But we're 3 and 1. We're second in this league in points, so obviously we can afford to have that player like Trevion Henderson that does give us a tremendous amount of long-term upside. Then wide receiver with Igbuka, Sutton, Brian Thomas. Realistically, you're only ever starting 2 wide receivers. Like, we're not wanting to put another in the flex. This is perfectly fine for us to just be able to get somebody in. We have the elite tight end. I love your team. I don't want to make a single move. I love the construction of it. I like the players on it. Trevion Henderson maybe is never going to be a running back that has a ton of carries, and you're kind of banking on the big plays. You're banking on the receptions, which maybe is not as good as just like a grinder running back here in a point per carry format. But realistically, like, we're not selling him now. We'd be looking to sell him later on, right? But I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to spam send you a bunch of free questions. And do I need to log out and log back in so I can send these to you? I wish I had something for you, but I'm not going to tell you to make a move just to tell you to make a move. If you have, in my opinion, the best team in the league and the perfect roster construction, I want to keep it as is. And Zombie, I literally spent 2 minutes answering your question directly, so you can please rewind and you can see that answer. But do not copy and paste the same question in the chat over and over again, please. But let me send over a bunch of free questions to you, my guy. I really appreciate you as always. And again, I wish I had a single move to tell you to make, but I just frankly don't. Okay. Now, let's send this over to our next one. This is B-Joy 3-1, so we're sitting well. Maybe we need to upgrade at quarterback. Also, Kyron may get benched for Judkins. You're not benching Kyron for Judkins in a full PPR format. Kyron's offense is too good. Here's the thing, man. You've currently scored 565 points, which is the number one team in the league. We're 3-1, and you look at the league analyzer. We have by far and away more value on our team than anybody else has in this league. So this is already a great, great setup. Then I do think that there are some additional moves that you could make. It's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format, right? So the skill positional depth, not going to matter too much here. Like quarterback, we are currently sitting with Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones. We can play the matchups between these two guys weekly. Are we super excited about it? No, but we can do it. Now, realistically with that, I would say that I'm probably starting Daniel Jones this week with how good his matchup is and how good that projection is. But I would realistically think you can upgrade QB. Running back, we have 3 hammers. We're the number one team in this league at running back because CMC's our RB1, so nobody has a better RB1 than we do. Kyron Williams is our RB2. Nobody has a better RB2 than we do. Quinshon Judkins is our RB3. Nobody has a better RB3 than we do. So then the depth beyond this, not super important, right? We have Pollard as a depth piece. We have Blake Corum, Brian Robinson as the handcuffs, but we're fine with what we have at running back. Now going over to wide receiver, St. Brown, the only team with a better wide receiver 1 is the Puka Nacua team. Tet McMillan, Cortland Sutton, Chris Godwin, Matthew Golden. And we have the elite tight end with Trey McBride. Not a single person is a better tight end than we do. So you are first in the league analyzer at wide receiver. You are second in the league analyzer at wide receiver. And first at running back, second at wide receiver, and first at tight end. So realistically speaking, as we look at this, what could I tell you to do? What could we be excited about? The only thing is upgrading QB. And I think you have the expendable pieces to do so. Now, realistically, I like the idea of having 3 strong options at both positions, even in a league in which you only start 2 receivers in a flex. So I don't know if running back's going to be what we sell. Now, obviously, if you could sell Tony Pollard and Kyler Murray to get to an exciting quarterback, you would. But nobody's buying Kyler Murray, at least not in my league. Trust me, I've tried. So realistically, you're going to have to probably sell a wide receiver. I mean, nobody's buying Tony Pollard. I apologize. But if we're selling a wide receiver here and we look at the options that we have, it's like Tet, Sutton, Godwin, and Golden. Now, if I'm looking at which one of these wide receivers that we would sell, I think it is going to have to be Sutton or Tet. Because realistically, while Godwin had 10 targets last week, and while I think he is exciting and he's expanding his role, nobody's buying Godwin just yet. He scored 5.6 fantasy points this past week. Sutton, however, you could get somebody to bite. And we're the number one team in this league, 3-1. You could afford a trade for an injured Lamar Jackson. So I wouldn't mind whatsoever if you wanted to go through and if you wanted to try to send like Sutton and Kyler to get to Lamar, play Daniel Jones in the short term until you end up getting Lamar Jackson in the long term. I wouldn't mind if you wanted to send Tet McMillan and Kyler Murray and try to get to Jalen Hurts. But the only thing to do is sell one of these two wide receivers with one of these two quarterbacks for a top 4 quarterback, and then you're golden. But you're already golden. You have a phenomenal team. Not even going to mention that this looks like it may be a tight end premium format, which in that case, the team's even better with Trey McBride, of course. But I'm going to go ahead and send you over some free questions. So if there's anything else that you want me to take a look at, I'd be super happy to peek it for you. Now, let's smooth this over. And I was waiting till we hit the hour mark on this live stream before we go over and start looking at some of the quick questions. So let's do one more team review and then we'll get to the start set and we'll get to the trades. But this is Ire Fire says, I just got my first win last week with the most points scored in a week for my league. Now I'm out Bucky and Benson with Jacobs on bye. What kind of moves should we make? The person I'm going against me offered Charb and Warren for Sutton. Hell no. I like Sutton a lot and don't like Charb. Do I do it? No. I mean, Warren's on bye this week as well, so that doesn't really solve your problem of Jacobs being on bye. Now, we are currently 7th in this league. And I know we dropped a bunch of points last week. So like you're 5th in this league in points scored, but you're still 1-3. You started off the season 0-3, right? So let's just be honest with each other. You're not in a good spot. You're a 1-3 team that just had 2 significant injuries to running backs. And the big trouble that we're going to have here is this is a start 8 format. So the depth is actually going to matter. Like this is a league in which our starting lineup this week is Michael Carter, Justice Hill at running back. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Igbuka, Sutton, and then Myers in the flex. Thank God we have 4 startable wide receivers. But here's the thing, man. I mean, beyond that, you don't really. So if you were to go through and sell like Sutton, go through and sell Igbuka for a running back, what you would be doing is you would just be filling one hole but causing another. So I don't know if the solution is just trade a wide receiver for an RB. You're going to have to get somebody else that you can feel excited about putting in your flex spot. Now, I hate to say this. I really do. But 1-3 team where right now we're starting Justice Hill this week and Michael Carter. I think the solution to this may actually be you need to sell Bucky Irving. So it's brutal, but there are other teams in this league that could use Bucky, right? Like if I was 1-3 and it's not like Bucky's just guaranteed to miss this week. I know people are hating on me for ranking Kyron Williams ahead of Bucky Irving rest of season. It's not like this coaching staff said, hey, don't worry, Bucky's coming back in week 7. We don't know. So if you wanted to flip Bucky to the Derrick Henry team, who's number 1 in this league in points scored, I'd do it. See if they are willing to take on the risk with the injury. Because it doesn't matter if Bucky Irving comes back 2 weeks from now and he's the top 5 running back rest of season. If you fall to 1-5, you're cooked. I mean, obviously we'd sell him for Achane or James Cook, but you're not going to get that for him. If you wanted to send Bucky Irving for like Breece Hall and Sharbs, I think that could be in play, as gross as it sounds. It's better than your Chuba Hubbard deal, your other one you mentioned. If you want to sell Bucky Irving for Javonte Williams and an upgrade at wide receiver, could look at that. If you could flip Bucky for Amari and Hampton, you'd do it in a heartbeat. Again, I wish we would have traded him for Kyron before the week started, just knowing that we needed the start. But ultimately, I think that's a better solution to the problem as opposed to selling the wide receiver for a running back, because then you're just going to have garbage flexes. And realistically, your league mates are smart enough where the waiver wire is barren. Like, there aren't really any interesting waiver wire plays. But I really appreciate you, and I really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, my guy. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send you over some free questions just in case there's anything else that you want us to follow up with. But we are going to get over to the fast questions. These are going to be the start sits, the trades, and then we can get back to roster reviews later on. But it also looks like we hit 500 likes on the stream, so we'll go ahead and we'll send out some more free questions. So if you haven't already, to qualify to win those free questions, all you got to do is drop a like on the live stream and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. You can tell that the vast majority of questions that we answer every single night, and I'm streaming 3 to 4 hours every night answering questions, are the free ones. And on top of that, you can actually get guaranteed free questions for the live streams that we're doing every single day until Christmas by signing up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK and depositing at least $10. Once you do that, you're also going to be getting a free gimme pick for Drake May, higher, lower, half a total yard for the Patriots game this weekend. And on top of that, you'll be getting a $100 bonus after you play your first $5 on Underdog. I've been with them for 5 years. I promise you, they have never done anything close to this good of a new user offer. So use code FLOCK, get $100 out of your account after you play your first 5, get the free Drake May pick, and get free questions that we'll answer in the live streams. And again, I'm streaming every single day until Christmas, but let's go ahead and send this free question out. This one's going to be going over to Type Chip. Type Chip. I found Type Chips, and there's no way that there's 2 different people like that. So I'm going to send Type Chips over a free start set question. Appreciate you hanging out with us in the stream. But now let's go through and let's start ripping through these. Your Zach here, I'm assuming you need 2 wide receivers and a flex, 2 running backs and a flex. We're going to go James Cook, Javonte at running back. Wide receiver, give me Jefferson, the big Q. For the flex, give me J-Mo, or actually give me Worthy in the flex. Tight end, give me Hunter Henry over Sam Laporta. Laporta's just been bad this year. Okay, now the Soaring Eagle is trading Kyler, Gainwell, Flowers for Bo Nix and Devontae Adams. This is a redraft format, but it does look like it's a super flex. Kyler, Bo Nix is honestly kind of the same to me, and I'd rather have Adams here. So I would take the Bo Nix and Adams side. Hartley says, I feel good about rest of season, but over the next couple of weeks, I'm worried about flex plays. Anything different? Yeah, you just got to send a prayer that you get Lamb back. I'll leave this as is for now. I guess if you wanted the floor, you could consider Juwan Johnson instead of Trey Tucker. What was the route participation for Trey Tucker this past week? He still was out there for 98% of the snaps. Yeah, you're still playing Trey Tucker in the flex. Now, she ate Harlem with our next one. Wide receiver, Egbuka must start till Evans comes back. And flex, I'll say Worthy must start until we get back in Mr. Rice. E. Morales with our next one. Our best option on the bench right now is Jordan Addison. Not playing Addison over any of the names. Actually, no, we have Dowdle. But yeah, I'm not playing Dowdle over any of those names. Yeah, quarterback sucks, but it is what it is. We got Caleb on bye. Brandon says 14 playoffs, play the championship game for 2 weeks. So it's very, very important that we make the playoffs here. Wide receiver, we have no Evans. We have no Pearsall. We have no Jennings. You make this deal, we're starting Marv and Worthy in the short term. Running back, you're starting Hampton, Jordan Mason. Here's the thing, man. I like the value of the Rashee Rice and Marvin Harrison side, but I don't know if a team that is dealing with the Aaron Jones, the Bucky Irving, the Jawan Jennings, the Ricky Pearsall, the Mike Evans injuries, you have 5 players injured. With 5 players injured, I don't think you can afford to trade for Rashee Rice. So I would keep Jamar Chase here, especially if only 4 teams make the playoffs. Today with our next one, running back, we're going to go Rachaad White over Montgomery and Bucky. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase over Olave. And then in the flex, a full PPR, give me Olave. King Braid says, do I trade Saquon and Keenan for Taylor? Love Taylor. I have Saquon on my own team, and if it was a 10-team format like this, I'd consider it. My hesitation is I don't do it on your team because you just lost neighbors, so you don't have enough depth. It's like you do that, and then who the hell are you putting in your lineup? Corey Cross-Garrett? So, probably not. Now, Young Theta, quarterback, Hurts, and then is there anything else to discuss? We have Dallas Goedert in the flex spot. For the love of God, take him out. Put in Rachaad White. And is there anybody else? You got Deebo Samuel. I'll play Deebo Samuel at this point. Actually, get him on. Well, how the hell did we fill this out? Put Amon-Ra St. Brown in there. I'd play Deebo Samuel over Devonta Smith, considering the fact that you have no Terry and Daniels is playing. And then if Bowers doesn't play and you have to go with another tight end, you would go with Goddard. Okay. Now, Laced Freak with our next one. For the flex spot, we have no Terry. I'll go Shakir. Shakir's not getting a lot of target volume, but again, the Bills are projected out to be the second highest scoring offense in the league this week. Macrophage trading Rice and Hendo for James Cook. Yes, sir. Go ahead and get James Cook here. El Cubano, quarterback, Daniel Jones over Dak this week. Running back, Brees Judkins. And then in the flex, I would go ahead and take Jamar over Kamara. Now, Tom, running back, we're going to go with Rachaad White. And then in the flex spots, we are going to take the combo of Devonta Smith and J-Mo. Weekly Eye says, how do I upload my ESPN team to the site? Anybody here needs help uploading their team to the site, go to the My Teams page, hit this, hit manage, and you get ESPN. What you got to do here, 1, make sure you're signed in to ESPN on one window. 2, install the flockfantasy.com ESPN browser extension. 3, open the extension and hit the sync button. I would recommend doing this on desktop, and I would recommend doing this on a browser other than Safari. Okay. Now, Poe21, quarterback, you have no option but to go Tua this week. Ravi says the extension doesn't work in the U.S. I'm sure it does. We've had 100,000 people probably link ESPN teams in the U.S. So that'd be news to me if it didn't, and that would be like a 5-minute thing. I mean, it would have happened in the last 5 minutes. So Worthy will be an auto start here at wide receiver. You have no Turpin, you have no Lamb, you have no Jennings, so it's Hunter or Malik Washington. I'm going to go Travis Hunter or Malik Washington. I'm sorry. And then for the flexes, I'm going to go with Tony Pollard and Trevion Henderson. Okay. Now, Zach Attack trading Walker, Pickens, Harrison for Henry, Ladd. Yeah, Ravi, if you're having any issues, you can email support@flockfantasy.com, or you can open up a ticket in the site issues section of the Discord. Oppen says ESPN extension doesn't work in Bosnia, just to let you know. Now, I cannot confirm nor deny that the ESPN extension does or does not work in Bosnia. Pretty confident it works in the United States of America. Bosnia, on the other hand, your guess is as good as mine. Okay. Zach Attack, upgrade from Walker to Henry, downgrade from Pickens to Ladd, and we're paying Marvin Harrison to do it. I probably wouldn't do this, but I'm be honest with you, Chief. I may or may not have been wrong about Derrick Henry once or twice. Brian says, Bosnia, y'all have some beautiful woman, not going to lie. Let me do a little bit of research on that one for myself. I have no idea what Bosnia is. I have no idea where it is. Bosnia women. Let's see. Oh my gosh, you are right. I think we need to. They're not Bosnia women. They're Bosnia baddies. Good call. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yes. Hopefully the fiance doesn't see this. That'd be a tough scene. Tough scene. But anyway, Idris Lloyd, wide receiver. We have no Rice. We have no Jennings. So it's Smith or Diggs. I'd probably still go Smith. I'd go Smith over Addison too. And then for the flex, you can go Addison over Diggs, but it's pretty close. Like Diggs is trending in the right direction. Okay. Now, Arch Revan trading Daniels and Mike Evans for Devontae Adams and Tet. Who's our other quarterback? Daniel Jones. How down bad are you at wide receiver? Pearsall injured, Rowan. We're starting to Devonta Smith and Waddle this week. 10-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Our flexes are Gibb. And we have Gibbs, ETN at running back. Flex like Woody Marks. I would keep Daniels and Evans unless you're like 0-4 and you need points right now. Now, Taco here. Wide receiver, no Evans, no Rice. It's either Franklin or Cup. I'd go Cup. For the love of God, if anybody here plays Isaiah Bond, you've lost the script, okay? Looking at what we have at running back, between Henderson and Michael Carter, Henderson's the upside shot, but I think Michael Carter's probably going to be the guy in Arizona. Now, give on here at wide receiver. I'm going to go Hunter over Malik Washington. Tight end, I'm going to go Zach Ertz over David Njoku. And then also, like, I am more confident in telling you not to start Isaiah Bond than I am to tell you that you can't start whatever the hell their name is. Freaking Malik Washington. Like, Malik Washington could have a good game, but Malik Washington has the lowest floor of any player imaginable. Like, I know I know Tyreek's out, but now Myloon trading Bijan Kraft for Achane Mason Tet. Bijan to Achane, slide downgrade. Kraft to Tet, clear upgrade. We're getting Jordan Mason for our troubles. Can't see our team. I think it's a fair trade. I think it's up to you. Mr. Blabo says, does the monthly Mother Flocker come with free questions? No, what comes with free questions in terms of one of the site packages would be the season pass. The season pass comes with free questions, and then annual Mother Flocker comes with free questions and a free team review. The monthly comes with just access to everything on the site. 3-notch trading Walker for Bowers. Honestly, I need to go ahead and I need to move Bowers down our rest of season ranks. It's painful to say it, but if Bowers looks like he is far from being 100%, like realistically, I don't know how I could have him here. And God, the freaking devs botched the create rankings. So I have to. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I have to update this ranking on Bowers. Where do we end up putting this dude? I'd rather Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Pickens. I'd rather have Tat. I'd rather have Tyler Warren than Brock Bowers right now. I still probably prefer looking at this, I still probably prefer Bowers over Kenneth Walker. But I'm not going to lie, the Bowers injury is concerning. Like, I wouldn't fault you at all if you wanted to go with the Kenneth Walker side. Now, McFly, quarterback, give me Hurts over Fields. I know it's a great matchup for Fields, though. Wide receiver, give me Judy over Ayo Manor. And then in the flex, I'm going to go with Hendo over Ayo Manor. Like, Ayo Manor trending the right direction, but of course, it's like one of the it's looks like it may be the worst offense in the league. Now, Amir K trading Ladd and Jordan Mason. I'm sorry, Ladd for Jordan Mason. Running back, we're starting Scat and Achane this week. So this is like a flex play for us. Aaron Jones coming back soon, so I'd rather have Ladd McConkey over Jordan Mason. So looks like that's another thing that we need to update in our rankings. It was realistically flex play, like obviously give me Jordan Mason in the short term. But long term, that's a much tougher call. So I'll probably do that in the overall rankings. We'd probably just need to move Jordan Mason down. Yeah, I'd rather have Waddle over him. I'd rather have Devon Smith. I'd rather have Ladd. So move Ladd up to 64 overall. Let's move this over. And yeah, so if these are just flex plays for you, I'd rather have Mason in the flex short term, but Ladd flex long term. Now, Pee Wee Enemy says, I'm leaning Woody versus the Ravens defense. What do you think? The other option is Michael Carter. I think, no, it's Dowdle. I mean, and now that you have no Chuba Hubbard, you got to play Dowdle over Woody. Go Utes Tommy says, Olave or Godwin for Herbert, or get young CJ T-Law or Tua for free. Is this for a 1 week fill-in or a long-term thing? We got Lamar injury. Boy, do you have it wide? Who are you going to drop? We would probably drop. If Trey Benson's on the bench, we would drop Benson. If not, you drop Travis Hunter. So would I rather trade Travis Hunter for Lawrence or trade Olave for Herbert? Because you have Lamar, I'd rather just stream quarterback. I'd rather not make a trade. I'd keep Olave here. But it looks like we just hit 600 likes on the stream, so let's go ahead and let's send out some more free questions. Again, all you got to do to get those free questions will be go down there, drop a like on this stream, and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. You can tell the vast majority of questions that we answer every single day in these streams are completely free. You can win them in the streams. We're sending out a ton every single day. And also, you could get guaranteed free questions by taking advantage of the offer on Underdog Fantasy, where if you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you will get I was going to say a 50% deposit bonus, but hell, they upgraded the offer 10,000. Literally now it's a 20x essentially. You'll get an offer where after you play your first $5, you get $100 added in your account. 10,000 times better than any of the promos they've done previously. And on top of that, you'll get the free Drake May pick, more than less than half a total yard. And you'll get free questions that you can send into these streams. And I'm going to be live streaming answering fantasy football questions every single day until Christmas. Let's go ahead, find one of y'all, send that question out. Let's send this to PolyD23. All right, appreciate you hanging out with us in this stream, my guy. Okay. Polly D 23. Just found you. Just sent you over that free start set question. Again, really appreciate you hanging out with us here, my guy. Now, Larry trading Chase for Rice and Jordan Mason. Running back, we have Walker. That's kind of it to put in the lineup right now. Wide receiver, we have Egbuka, Marv, Sutton that we can start. I'm okay with this deal because realistically, I don't think it makes their starting lineup that much worse in the short term. And in the long term, you probably prefer Rice over Jamar Chase. So I'm okay with this trade. Not going to mark either side as the winner. I think it's a fair trade. Now, Redemption says start Mason versus the Cleveland's rush defense with the Vikings offensive line banged up. I'll know you start Jalen Hurts. Wide receiver, we're going to start A.J. Brown. No, we have Jefferson. Never mind. And then for the flex, did we not play Kyron? I mean, if we could get in a time machine and play Kyron, that'd be great. But if not, if it's A.J. Brown versus Jordan Mason, it's going to come up. It's going to come down to you, essentially. Those would be the two names that I'm looking at. If you're looking at my flex rankings this week, I still had Jordan Mason as somebody that was a very clear start considering just the volume you're getting with no Aaron Jones. So for me personally, if this was my team, I'm going to be honest with you, I would go ahead and I'd start Jordan Mason. But clearly starting Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown together does give you a crazy high ceiling, but it also gives you a little bit of lower floor. Now, Portly Stir Fry says, down bad from Neighbors and Chuba injuries. Heavy underdog this week. What are the best ceiling plays? Running back, Rachaad White for sure. Wide receiver, Sutton, Brian Thomas. The flex, probably Michael Carter. And you just hope that he is the starter. Which there's a very real possibility. I think Michael Carter is my vote there to lead that backfield. Now, JB Goated, running back, where I'm going to go Rachaad White over Dowdle. They're both great plays. Probably flex. Yeah, you flex the other guy. I'll play them both over Woody Marks. And then tight end, I'm going to go Juwan Johnson over Darren Waller, even with the setup that you potentially have the other Saints tight ends coming back. Now, Iceman talking about trading a couple future first for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, it's a super flex 10-team league. Keep in mind, guys, that these are rookie picks. This is a dynasty league. This is like the going price for what you have with Amon-Ra St. Brown in dynasty. So it's a fair cost. I will say that obviously if you're a rebuilder, I'd rather have the picks to get the flexibility to make other moves during the offseason. However, with that, if you're a contender, you can make a strong argument that Amon-Ra St. Brown wins your league this year. So I think it's a fair deal. I think it comes down to, are you wanting to push your chips in the middle, and are you really wanting to go out there and make sure you can contend right now? So fair deal. Not going to mark either side as a winner. Now, Lashitz trading Daniels, James Cook, Tyler Warren for Allen and Barkley. James Cook to Barkley, lateral move. Daniels and Tyler Warren to Josh Allen. Do you have another tight ends? Yeah, we have Kittle and Hunter Henry. So, yes, you'd make this deal. You go get Josh Allen. Okay, now, Corwin B. For the flex spots, you're going to go with Michael Carter. And then it's a non-tight end premium for me. So, we're going to go Michael Carter and Woody Marks. I'd actually play Woody Marks over Carter. I didn't see him initially, though. But, yeah, I think you just play the two running backs. Now, Lance Former trading Derrick Henry and Miller for Josh. Yeah, this is Josh Jacobs. Not even really close. Maybe I'm biased here, but with the Lamar injury, y'all know I looked like a fool last year for claiming that Josh Jacobs would be a better fantasy asset than Derrick Henry. Clearly, that was horrible, and I'm the first person to admit that. But realistically speaking, it's a year later, and it looks like it's the case. Okay. Now, Jura Fichu, we have no quarterback to pick from. Running back, full PPR format, Kamara, Jordan Mason, kind of up to you. You're probably playing both guys, right? Yeah, you are. As the other spots, you're going to go Sutton, Waddle, and then Jordan Mason. And you could consider Tyler Warren over Jalen Waddle. If it wasn't for the Tyreek injury, I would do that. Now, Laser with our next one. Here for the flex, I think you keep it stupid simple. You play Rico Dowdle now that you have no Chuba Hubbard. Pretty easy, to be honest. Now, Tyler Kaiser with our next one. For this flex spot, the best option on the bench could probably be Alec Manor. Not playing him over Marks or Pollard, so you leave the lineup as is. You could consider, and then no, there's no world I consider Ramondre. Benjamin coming through. Rashad White, easy play. And then for our other name between Slayton, Downs, and RJ Harvey, full PPR format, I'm going to go Slayton. I actually think I'm going to play RJ Harvey like in most spots here over Slayton. The tough thing is, it's just a tough matchup that you have this week for the Denver Broncos. Okay. Now, Mr. Filthy Wub says 3-1. I have 3 startable running backs, but not much when it comes to depth. One of those running backs. You're telling me we're going to be left over with Gibbs and Dobbins at RB, and that's it. So if that's the case, I would much prefer having Judkins and Garrett Wilson here. Yeah, you keep Judkins. Okay. Next question's from Mark. Running back, Hampton, Jordan Mason, and then the flex going to be Dowdle. Actually, full PPR format, you get a flex Tet. Sucks benching Dowdle there. I'd see if the Hubbard owner would be interested in trading for him. Okay. Okay. Hasten. Running back, we're going to go Rashad White, Kenneth Walker over Chase Brown. And then in the flex, you have no Metcalf, you have no Rome, so we're going to go Chase Brown. Like, realistically speaking, Chase Brown's still getting 15-plus opportunities every single week. I know it's the worst offense in the league, but you actually have a better projection for said offense this week. Now, Preston with our next one. For this flex, it's either Addison or Dowdle. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Dowdle here easily. Like, I have very little as like with the Arizona backs. Obviously, you can make an argument that like it could either be Michael Carter or Dermicado. We really don't know. But we know what's going to happen in Carolina. We know it's going to be Rico Dowdle. Now, Mark 23-19. Running back, we have no Bucky. It's going to be Dowdle and Montgomery here for us easily over Pacheco. Wide receiver, we have no Lamb or Pearsall, so you're going like Godwin, Addison in a flex spot, and that last flex. It's going to come down to Pacheco versus Ramondre. I probably go Ramondre Stevenson as much as I wish that this dude was benched already. Actually, I can't go Ramondre here. No, I think we have to. Yeah, you have to go Ramondre. I mean, the Chiefs are coming through and saying that they're going to get Rashad Smith more involved. Now, Grady Ware trading Ginty and A.J. Brown for Jettas. If you have enough running back depth, we'll do it. We lost Benson, but we still have Barkley, Amari, and Hampton, and Hendo. So, yeah, go get Justin Jefferson. Now, Adam Parker trading Ramondre and Henderson for T. Higgins. I'd rather Trevion Henderson for straight up over T. Higgins. So, yeah, easily the New England backs. Amon Sini for the flex, we're looking at Hollywood, Olave, or Dermicado. We're definitely going to go with Olave. Jake Cook, running back. No Jacobs. I'm going to go Michael Carter. He will be my bet to be the lead back here. And then I'm not playing Keon in the flex. Isaiah Bond would be the worst play imaginable. So I'm actually probably going to go Sharps. You could go Dermicado and just monopolize the touches in Arizona. Here for the flex, flip a coin. I would want to tell you Harvey. The issue is just Harvey's in a really tough matchup. Now, KBR, running back, we have Rashad White. I'll go Woody Marks over Michael Carter. Wide receiver, I mean, we can go back and forth. They're going to put the other guy in your flex anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Wide receiver, if Ridley doesn't play, you go A.O. Manor. If Ridley does play, I think you probably go Keon Coleman. Now, Zlay, running back, we're going to go Dowdle for sure. There's some uncertainty with Arizona. There's no uncertainty there. in Carolina. And then for the flex, Michael Carter versus Jordan Addison's tough. Again, like I said, I'm expecting that Michael Carter's the guy, but it's not a guarantee. Full PPR format, it's going to be up to you. Your team's good enough where I'd probably just play the running back, but if you wanted to go with Jordan Addison, I'm not going to fault you. Now, L Buck, RB, Travis Etienne, wide receiver, Addison, Godwin, going to go Godwin, and then in the flex, you play Dowdle. Dowdle's an easy play. Like I would rather play Dowdle over Pollard myself this week. Now, Big BV. We have no Bucky. We have no Evans. We have no Golden. So we're going to go Dermicado, and I guess you could go Josh Downs. Like with Downs, you have no Alec Pierce, still out with a concussion. Adonai Mitchell maybe played himself out of a role last week. So maybe this is what finally gets him more involved. Now, next name's going to be Judge Lodge. For the flex, we just take Lad McConkey. I think you keep it stupid simple. Don't overthink it. Now, Great Big C. 3 flex spots. Oh my gosh, we actually have good names. I think we go Quentin Johnston, A.J. Brown, and Rico Dowdle. This will be an instance in which you can bench Chase Brown. I'm not going to fault you for it because it's a full PPR format where you have a great team. Like based off how decimated everybody is, for you to be able to bench Chase Brown, that is insane. Like your team is getting through this just fine. Okay. Now, gals with our next one. Quarterback. I guess you have no other option but Dart. I will say I'd way rather stream a different QB this week. A Dart dealing with the hamstring. You have no neighbors. Like Dart's a lot less interesting this week than he was last week. Wide receiver. Between Devonta Smith, Travis Hunter, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, you're missing 2 of these guys. You go Smith over Hunter. And then for the flex, we have no Swift. We had no Bucky. Like, this is the typical team this year, right? Or at least this week. Just absolutely decimated. Your only options are Charbonnet or Travis Hunter, and I'll go Charbonnet. Now, Wheezy with our next one. You didn't put what option we had in the flex, so I'm going to send you over a free start set question so you can resubmit this. Now, Illegal Eclair, trading Woody Marks and Lad McConkey for Sutton. As long as you have enough running back production, we do this. And we have enough running back production, so yeah, I'm fine with you getting Sutton. Running back needy team, I would take the Lad McConkey side. That's a very fair deal. Derp, trading Pickens for Jamar Chase. Short term, you can tell with our weekly rankings, obviously we would way rather have Pickens than Jamar. Long term, once Lamb does come back in, for me, I'm going to tell you what everybody in this chat would say. Every single person in this chat would say George Pickens. But I'm an idiot. So if it was my team and I had a winning record and I was thinking more so long term, I would go with Jamar Chase. I would expect that we have a slightly better offense here in Cincinnati going into the future than what it's been over the past 2 weeks. Not going to say it's good, better than it's been. Now, Kilroyd's quarterback, Fields versus Daniels. It's very tough. I have them in the same tier this week. I would probably go Fields, but with him being in a knee brace, I wouldn't fault you for going. I'm sorry, I'd probably go Daniels, but I wouldn't fault you for going Fields. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown, and then in the flex, we'll go with Cam Scadaboo. Okay. Rudy, Our options on our bench is really just Dermicado or RJ Harvey. I'm not playing him over any of the names that we have. And yeah, it's actually great that you played Kendrick Bourne here with all the bye weeks that we had at wide receiver. Like, it worked out well for us. Okay. Now, Mr. Filthy Wub says 3-1, strangely considering trade calc says I lost. So I don't know if you included with the trade calc the player that you'd be picking up off the waiver wire. But looking at this, you'd be putting yourself in a very compromising spot in the short term. You're starting Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Shakir, and then Gibbs and Dobbins if you do this. So you'd be a subpar RB2, subpar flex spots. It comes down to your risk tolerance. If this was a shallower format, sure, give me Bucky Irving. Or if they told us, hey, Bucky Irving's coming back next week, don't worry, then of course give me Bucky. But the reality of the situation is we have no idea when this dude's coming back. That's going to make it a lot tougher. So I don't know. It is up to you, my guy. But it comes down to your risk tolerance with the Bucky Irving injury, because I just frankly don't know. Now, Sego bans trading Chase for Hampton. At this point, you'd prefer Hampton pretty easily. It'd be very easy if you didn't have the offensive line injuries in Los Angeles. Flashy, we're going to go Dak over Love. Wide receiver, we're going to go with a Ridley if he plays, Franklin if he doesn't. And then in the flex, you're playing Michael Carter regardless. 40 ounces, 0-4, needs some help, was offered this. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my guy. Downgrade at quarterback massively, downgrade at running back massively, downgrade at wide receiver. This is the Jalen Hurts side. It's not even really close. I don't even look at your team for a second. I don't care if you're 4-0, 2-2, 0-4. You're very easily preferring the Jalen Hurts side of this. 719 erased me. For the flex, we have no Rice, no Rome, no Lamb, no Golden. So it's just Chase Brown or RJ Harvey. Give me Chase Brown. Like, again, this is supposed to be like the highest scoring game of the week. Obviously, a lot of that is going to be on the Detroit Lions end of things. But you still have 15 plus opportunities every single week. And RJRV, I know the workload was great, but ultimately it was a spot in which a lot of that work just came in garbage time. Now, C. Crystal trading Hubbard and Debo for Metcalf and Warren. Is this? No, this isn't a dynasty league. This is a redraft format. So, I mean, honestly, dynasty or redraft, it doesn't matter. I'm taking the DK Metcalf, Tyler Warren side here easily. So here's where my mind's at, everyone. Like, this is a difference between what I've seen with how I'm valuing some of these players and with how I would value them in my league versus how some of y'all are, is the running backs that have these week-to-week injuries that we have very little information about, like Chuba Hubbard and Bucky Irving. I'm not going to tell you that you can't, but I'm not quick to go out there and buy the dip on them. Like, I'm going to let that dip keep dipping. As realistically, like, you trade for Bucky Irving, if you pay a price as if he's almost guaranteed to come back in week 7, you're taking on a lot of downside risk there. So, of course, you do you, but that is something that would really scare me. Now, Amstad says 14-team tight end premium format plus half PPR. Rank Chubb, Ingram, or an injured Juwan Johnson for the last flex spot. I'd go Nick Chubb if it was my team. Obviously, Woody Marks looks like he's taking over as a starting running back, but Nick Chubb still had 15 opportunities last week, 13 the week before, 15 the week before that, 14 the week before that. So we've yet to see a game from Nick Chubb this season with fewer than like 13 touches. Now, Rich Pedro with our next one. Running back, I'd probably go Rashad White over Kamara at this point. And then in the flex, we probably go Kamara. But Rico Dowdle is a very interesting play. Like, crazy that you have Dowdle and you can afford to bench him on your team. Now, JB with our next one. Running back, Woody Marks, Trevion Henderson, Chase Brown. I'm going to tell you what everybody else would say and what I would say. Everybody else would say that Woody Marks has a ton of upside. It's a really good matchup. Woody Marks looks great. He looks like he has a lot of juice. Play Woody Marks. For me, I'm going to take the running back that's just getting the guaranteed targets, getting the guaranteed carries, and getting everything in his backfield. And we've seen it for a long time now. So I'm going to be boring, and I'm going to take Chase Brown, and I'm going to let Woody Marks show us one more week before we get him in. Now, Rexorus here for the flex spots. Our best guy on the bench would be Trevion Henderson to get in the lineup, and no, we're not going to play him. But it looks like we just hit 700 likes on the stream. So let's go ahead and let's send out some free questions. And again, do want to reiterate, all you got to do to qualify to win those free questions will be drop a like on the live stream and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. You can tell the vast majority of the questions that I'm answering in every single live stream are completely free. We spend hours every single day, and I will until Christmas answering your free fantasy football questions. And you can also get guaranteed free fantasy football questions by taking advantage of the offer on Underdog Fantasy. Or if you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with code FLOCK, you are going to get $100 added to your account after you play your first 5. It's the best offer that they've had during the 5 years I've been working with them. And on top of that, you're going to get a free Drake May gimme pick, higher, lower, half a total yard for the Bills game this weekend. Then you'll get free questions for the live streams. And again, we are streaming every single day, so you should have plenty of opportunities to get those questions in. But let's send this one out to Michael Hartz. Appreciate you hanging out with us, my friend, and happy to send this over to you. I cannot find you on the site. I don't know if you used code FLOCK when you signed up. If you didn't, you can add it to your account page. That way, the next time you win, I can find you. Snowy22 just found you and just sent you over a free start sit question. Again, really appreciate you hanging out with us in this stream. Okay. Now, let's move this to our next one. This is going to be from CDA Beast. For the flex, Jordan Mason is an auto start, and between Woody Marks, Jalen Waddle, I'd play Waddle. And at the same time, I would say, like, with Woody Marks, ton of upside, really excited about him. But you don't get weeks, you don't get additional points for being like the first guy to start him, right? My rookie take is always outside of the guys that are round one NFL draft picks at running back that are like top 10 options at wide receiver, like Ted McMillan, Amari Hampton, Ashton Genty. We want to roster the high upside RBs that are rookies. We want to roster the high upside wide receivers that are rookies, but we also want to see it before you believe it. And Woody Marks, we've seen him for 1 week in a blowout. Now, Star Wars Geek here at quarterback, give me May over Bo. Running back, give me Hendo because I'm an idiot. And then the flex, I definitely play Brian Thomas there. Brian Thomas for sure the best flex. Okay. Now, Seneca with our next one. This is going to be James Cook, Jamar Chase, versus CMC and Pickens. Chase to Pickens, I view as a lateral move. James Cook to CMC, I view as a massive upgrade. So yes, I would go ahead and do this. And it's going to be one of the very few deals where I tell somebody that makes sense for them to go through and sell McCaffrey. But yeah, I think it makes sense for you in this one instance. Okay. Now, let's move this over to our next question. This next one's from Star Wars Geek, selling Brian Thomas and Hendo for Derrick Henry. It's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Here's my thing, man. With the Lamb, I like this trade in the long term, but with the Lamb injury, it's tough. Like, it's still probably do it, but it'd be a lot more exciting if you did not have CeeDee Lamb injured. Okay. Now, Sidekick says some of these players are on the waiver wire, considering you to start, keep, drop. Quarterback here, Herbert. Wide receiver, we would go plan A, Devonta Smith. If you need to start a second guy, you're going to go J-Mo. Actually, I'd go J-Mo, then Devonta Smith, but those would be the 2 wide receivers. Tight end, Hunter Henry. If you needed another option, let me just rank these guys for you. Jamison Williams, option 1 at wide receiver. Devonta Smith, option 2. Jerry Jeudy, option 3. Hopefully that helps. And then obviously Herbert at quarterback. Now, Riff Raff says week 5 starts it. Chase will be traded for Lamb. Okay, good to know. So if Chase is going to be traded for Lamb, we need to take him out. We need to play Keenan. And then we're going to be starting the automatic running backs. You start White, you start Dowdle, and I'd actually probably start Pittman over Keenan now that he's good to go, because you actually do have a really good matchup there for the Colts, while at the same time you do have what is it called? Alec Pierce out. So Alec Pierce being out obviously makes things a little bit more exciting for him. Now, our next play is going to be from Oslot. It says Superflex with both quarterbacks in. Leaning Judkins, but worried with them overseas. Love to flock. Thanks. Really appreciate you, my friend. Excited to check this out. So Judkins, Rachaad White. I'm going to tell you, every single person here would tell you that you got to play Judkins and it'd be crazy to do anything else. But I agree with you. I'm worried about them being overseas. I'm worried about the fact that the game projects to be the lowest scoring game in the league this week, and it's not even that close. So there are very real concerns for me to tell you that Judkins is an auto start. Realistically speaking, I'm okay with you starting him. Where we ended up with Judkins versus Rachaad White in our rankings this week, which pretty much those rankings are going to be finalized. But again, I believe the Browns have an implied team total of like 15.5 points. I put Judkins at 20 in our flex ranks. I put Rachaad White at 27. So it is up to you. I'm ranking Judkins ahead of Rachaad White. I think White would be the other guy that you would look at. But realistically, I completely understand the concern with Judkins, and I share the same concerns. But let me go ahead and send you over another free start set question in case there's anything else that you want to follow up with. Okay, let's refresh this to get some more questions in here. Let me see, how many more questions do we have? Brandon Aubrey Lover coming through. Okay, we're not that backed up on questions at all, so we can get back to the team reviews in a second. Quarterback between Mahomes and Herbert, I have them ranked back to back. Probably going to go ahead and take Mahomes. A running back, I think you go with a Breece Hall in a great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. And then for the flex, I think you keep it stupid simple. You just play the running back here with Judkins. Obviously, we have a big lead considering we already have the big performance with Kyron Williams. But I need to sign in and sign out real quick just to make sure that we can keep this show on the road. And as I do this, I want to remind y'all, please, if y'all like this hat or if you don't like this hat, we have so many other designs of hats. I ordered 2,500 hats for the members of the site. We had a better year on the site than we've ever had by far. I wanted to give away, give back in some way. Thought the best way to do that, other than obviously me answering all these free questions, will be to send y'all some free merch. So if you are a paid member of the site, for the love of God, please go and fill out this free merch giveaway. The fiance will kill me if we have thousands of hats sitting in our living room for the next year. So I need your help, and I just essentially need you to let me know what hat you like and where to send you that hat. So go to the post page on the site if you are a paying member of the site and fill that thing out for me so I can send you over a hat. Okay. Now let's pull these questions back up. Okay. Let's get back to the quick questions. This is going to be from Win. We're going to be going with Daniels over May. Then for the flex, we go with the combo of A.J. Brown and Rico Dowdle here pretty easily. Now, all over for you. Quarterback, give me Daniel Jones over Bo Nix. Don't like the matchup for Bo Nix this week. And then for the flex, give me Jordan Mason over Ladd McConkey. Variable thread, trading Genty for London. I can't see your team. I would say in general, I probably prefer Genty with all the running back injuries at the moment. If I'm selling a running back, I definitely need to be doing so at a pretty big premium. Okay. Now, Jack Nichols with our next one. Trading ETN for George Pickens. Wide receiver, we have Puka, Pittman, Tet. So you don't necessarily need a wide receiver. I definitely need more help at running back, but I'll say like the value is on the Pickens side. But for your team specifically, it seems like if we make this deal, wide receiver is going to be a lot stronger than running back will be. Now, Frenchman with our next one. Wide receiver, give me Waddle and JMO. Then for the flex, give me Michael Carter and Cam Scat. Honestly, easy call there. Now, grounded units, wide receiver, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Egbuka with no Evans. And then for the flex, I'm going to play Tet McMillan and hope that I'm wrong. And Quentin Johnston has another big explosion. Now, Stein trading Evan Smith and Miller for Algier and Chase. Miller, Algier, Tomato, Tomato, they're both handcuffed backs. Smith and Mike Evans versus Jamar Chase. It's Jamar Chase. I'm sorry. I know he's averaged only 8.5 points per game over the past 2 weeks. I know this offense has looked horrible. I know it was a primetime game, so everybody and their mom watched it. And everybody's trying to get rid of Jamar. It's completely understandable. But Mike Evans is injured. Devonta Smith is way less reliable. So for me, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Jamar Chase side of this. And I do so, and I'm pretty happy about doing it as well. Okay. Now, Rocco with our next one. Running back between Sean Tucker and Byshell Tootin. Either one would be gross. We're going to go Sean Tucker and hope that we're wrong about Rashad White, and it's a split backfield. Soggy trading Judkins, Pittman, Hunter for Chase, Myers, Ertz. Down tier at tight ends, up tier from Judkins to Chase, up tier from Pittman to Myers. I would do this deal. Unless you need help at running back. Running back were great. I think this is a trade that maybe looks tough to make right now, considering exactly how bad Jamar Chase looks in this Cincinnati Bengals offense, but I think you make it and you're happy with it at the end of the day. Okay, Barry Picker. Keenan Allen versus Woody Marks. I'm going to go Keenan Allen. Woody Marks probably the play next week, though. Just let's get confirmation first. Tony versus Addison's the best receiver. Michael Carter's the best running back. Here, it is truly going to be up to you. If you have Jefferson and you want to just say, like, you know what, this Vikings offense is going to be fine, you can double down. You can play Addison. But I'm trying to think. Addison's the safer play. Michael Carter's the play where you just call it and you go, you know what, he's going to be the starter. But it is going to be up to you there. Now, Psychality coming through. For the flex, give me Keenan over Godwin, Addison, and Shakir. Now, Serene, quarterback, Fields, great matchup going up against Dallas. Running back, Jordan Mason, Kenneth Walker. Wide receiver, Egbuka, St. Brown. Tight ends, Harold Fannin. Flex, Etienne, Addison. And then I guess your really only option for the last flex is Sharp or Brenton Strange. So I'm going to go Sharp. But I think you actually have a good enough team in a deep league like that to survive this week. Beachy Babes trading Henry, Brian Thomas, Britton Strange for Lamb and Tucker Kraft. Henry to Lamb, give me Lamb. Let's see, what do you have at tight end? We have nothing. Wide receiver, we have plenty of depth. So running back, we'd have Walker, Judkins, Michael Carter. It's a fine deal. If you have a winning record, give me the CeeDee Lamb side. If you have a losing record, give me the Derrick Henry side. Okay. Now, Steph Blue. Let's go Addison in one flex spot. And then your other flex spots like Alec Aomanor or Trevion Henderson, I'm going to go with Henderson if Ridley plays. We'll go Aomanor if Ridley misses. Okay. Now, it's McGon. Sent you out this free question earlier in the stream. I'm happy to see you using it, my guy. We're going to go Hurts, James Cook, Judkins. Wide receiver, give me Brian Thomas over Smith. Tight end, give me Tyler Warren. And then we'll go with the running back with Travis Etienne for the guaranteed volume in the flex. It's JP says, playing the Lions DST, holding on to New England for the upcoming schedule. Yeah, I've actually seen that. New England's schedule after this week is insane. Drop one for Downs, Mason Taylor, or Njoku. Okay. I would trade Tet for Rome. You're saying you have to drop somebody here, right? For Downs, Mason Taylor, or Njoku. If I had to drop somebody on your team, it's Matthew Stafford. Hopefully you didn't play him. So you can drop him. I know it's crazy me telling you to drop Stafford after he just had a phenomenal game, but who else are you supposed to drop? Michael Carter could be the starting running back for on the Cardinals at this point. Now, decent platter. Kyron to Gibbs upgrade. Judkins to Chase Brown lateral move. Downgrade. Garrett Wilson to Tet is where the lateral move's at. So, for me, I know it sounds crazy to say this with how strong Kyron Williams looked last night. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Gibbs is a completely different tier than anybody else in this deal. Garrett Wilson and Tet, that doesn't really matter to me. It's wide receiver 10 versus wide receiver 12. Okay. But yeah, let's go Gibbs. And I'm fine with the comment section hating me for it. Now, PD Ace coming through with the start sit question. Didn't actually submit this, so, fill anything out here. So I'm going to send you over a free start set so you can resubmit that, my guy. Now, decent platter trading Judkins, Kyron, Chase, Garrett Wilson for Chase Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Tet. We actually just looked at this now. Yeah, this is the same deal we just looked at. I know most people are going to say the Kyron and Judkins side, but I view it, and I view Gibbs in a different tier than anybody. So we're going to go Gibbs. Now, Nico with our next one. It's either Montgomery or Pittman. Full PBR format, I'm going to go Pittman, but Montgomery's in a really good spot considering the matchup against the Bengals. Mason Dodd, always happy to see you. We're going to go with Dowdle and Jalen Waddle over Chase Brown in a full PPR format. But definitely Dowdle's the play there. Now, Jordan Tyler, our best option on the bench is Rico Dowdle. I would play Rico Dowdle over Woody Marks this week. I know Woody Marks is a good matchup, but Nick Chubb still had like 15 opportunities a week ago. It still could be a committee in Houston. So I'd go Dowdle over Woody Marks. It'd be different if Nick Chubb was completely out. But it's just like, oh, we think it's a 60-40 from Nick Chubb to Woody Marks. Now it's going to flip the other way, right? So it's like Woody Marks is an interesting play. But it's not like a no-brainer. Okay. Now, Davion with our next one. Give me Judkins here at running back. I would consider putting ETN over Quentin Johnson in the flex. Just because I absolutely love I just love the running backs with the guaranteed volume. Now, Gunna Boy says 1-3, could have won last week, but had Addison and Dobbs on the bench. Do not fall yourself for that, my guy. Teams that have beat me have had a high score for the week. I really appreciate you. I'll send you over some free questions, my guy. You do not fault yourself for benching Jordan Addison and Romeo Dobbs. There's no way you could have predicted that. We have Shakir in the lineup now. I guess we'd keep him in. Thank God we have Rachaad White here. It would be a really ugly spot. I'm surprised you're 1-3 with a combo of Achane and Jonathan Taylor. I guess, yeah, you're right. Just the points against have been crazy. If we were looking at... If we're looking at a trade that would possibly be interesting for you, it may not be a bad idea to consider what you could get for Lamb on a 1-3 team like this. Now let's refresh this, see if we have any more questions coming in, because we are getting close to being caught up on these. Let's see. Yeah, these are all the questions that we got waiting for us that aren't team reviews. But Pax Executioner here for the flex. Our best option on the bench right now would be Chase Brown. I'm playing Chase Brown over Woody Marks. I know I'm an idiot, but Chase Brown gives you the guaranteed volume. Woody Marks definitely has the upside, and there's a chance we flip this next week. But there's a world in which Nick Chubb's the starting running back in Houston this week. Not saying that's likely, but that's a possibility. Now, Bijan fan trading Keenan, Golden, Jordan Mason for Benson, Malik Washington, Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas, the best asset in this. These other two pieces are meaningless. 10 team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Here's the thing. Who would you start at running back this week? Charbonnet? So, like, you can make this deal. Like, I think the Brian Thomas side's probably the winner in the long term. But I don't know. It's going to put you in a tough spot at running back in the short term. Now, Jordan Tyler, we have James Cook, London, Godwin versus Etienne, St. Brown, and Kittle. James Cook to St. Brown, lateral move up to you. Godwin to Kittle, upgrade. London to Etienne, clear downgrade. I'd rather have the James Cook side of this. Nate Spend, quarterback, give me Mahomes over Daniel Jones, but Jones is in a great matchup this week. Cam Scat at running back, wide receiver, we're going to go Jamar Chase, George Pickens. Tight end, you may need a pivot from Bowers if Bowers misses. And then for the flex, you go Woody Marks over like Travis Hunter, Keon Coleman. Now, Christoni's for the flex, it's like Keenan Allen or Montgomery. Half PPR. I think we're going to go Montgomery. If it was a full PPR league, I think you could very easily take the Keenan side with the target volume. But Montgomery's very likely to see a touchdown this week, where the Lions are favored more than any other team in the league and project to be the highest scoring offense in the league as well. Now, our next question. Type chips. Quarterback, give me Fields over Kyler. And then in the flex, full PBR format, I'm going to take Ladd McConkey and hope that we can get a glimpse of what he did last year. Now, Pauly D, quarterback, Daniel Jones over Baker, given matchups. And then for the flex, I'm going to go Travis Etienne here easily. Like Dobbins, you can't play in this matchup over somebody like Etienne. Okay. Now, Lemon Shake, trading Chase Sutton for JSN and DJ Moore. Here's the thing. It's an 8-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. So like the Sutton and DJ Moore side of this doesn't really matter in these league settings. And these league settings, it's really like Jamar Chase or JSN are the only needle moving pieces. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll take the JSN side of this. Okay. Now, our next one's from Wheezy. For the flex, it's Ladd, Walker, or I guess Pollard. I think you can go with Kenneth Walker, but Ladd McConkey is definitely interesting there in a full PPR. Now, Snowy 22 for the flex. Give me Etienne. Honestly, it's kind of Etienne easily. M Junior B Not says drop Njoku or Michael Carter for Ertz or ride it out with Njoku. You're not dropping Michael Carter, I'll tell you that much. Running back, you're playing Bucky and Dowdle this week. And yeah, you just got to play him you just got to wait 1 week with David Njoku until we get Tucker Kraft back. So, yeah, you very easily want Tucker Kraft there. Teresa, always happy to see you. Let me make sure you have as many free questions in your account as you need. Here, wide receiver. Jettas, Nico, auto starts. Flex. Flowers versus Woody Marks is tough, to be honest. If we had a fully healthy Lamar Jackson, I would easily tell you to go with Flowers. Issue is, again, you actually have the Baltimore Ravens projected out to be a bottom 5 offense in the league this week, which obviously is not typically the case. With it being a full PPR format, though, I'm probably still going to go with Zay Flowers, where we're very confident with the work that we know we're going to get. Whereas with Woody Marks, it's more so the upside shot. But it is definitely close with Lamar being out. Okay. Now our next question. And did I say to put Bucky in? I thought I said to put Rachaad White in, no? Yeah, Hampton and Rachaad White in. Wide receiver, Nico and Jefferson. And then flex Flowers. I don't think I ever said Bucky. Okay. Kittle Kids. Here for the flex. No Pearsall. No Kittle. No Golden. No Gainwell. So it's Juwan or Ridley. If Ridley plays, I'll go Ridley. If he doesn't, we'll go Juwan. Now, J-Zoc, here for the flex. No Hubbard. Full PBR format, you just play Tat. You keep it simple. Tizo. Yeah, full PBR league. I'd play Tat over Rachaad White. Rachaad White obviously is very appealing, though. But you could have Sean Tucker with a larger role than we were expecting. BD trade sending Rice for ETN. Running back, we have Taylor, Rachaad White, Chase Brown. Wide receiver, you need wide receiver more than you need running back. Like, I'm going to keep the Rice side of this unless you're like 0-4 or 1-3. Official making here at running back, you go Judkins, Achane. Wide receiver, Debo, JSN. And then for the flex, it's going to be Diggs or Henderson. Let me pull up where I put them in my flex rankings this week. I have them in the same tier. Actually, no, I have Diggs one tier ahead. I have Diggs at 56. I have Henderson at 62. Diggs had over 100 receiving yards, and he played a season-high percentage of snaps here for the New England Patriots this past week. Now, K. Collado trading Jordan Mason for Keenan Allen. You have enough running back production where you can do this. I don't know if Keenan Allen ever hits your lineup, so I don't really see the reason of it. I'm not going to mark either side as the winner, though. Serene trading Lamb for Daniels. There's almost... Oh, this is a super flex league. Super flex league where we have Goff, Fields, and that's it. If you're in a spot in which you have a losing record and we need points right now in super flex, yeah, let's go ahead and let's get Jaden Daniels instead of CeeDee Lamb. But obviously that does hinge on us having that losing record. Whereas if you're 4-0, I'd rather just ride it out with Lamb because it's not like you need help at quarterback. Okay. Let's see our next one. Do we have another question? So it's coming out from Flockadoodle Deuce. Says, I'm 1-3. Would like to a start sit referral and a general team suggestions. Right now my starting lineup is Scat, Mason, JSN, Marv, Olave. Okay, let's just see. Got Stafford here. We're 1-3, right? Running back, we have Scat, Mason. Daddle's going to be a flex. Wide receiver, we have JSN, Marv. I would flex Dowdle here over Olave. One thing that you may want to consider being 1-3 is if you could go through and flip Lamar and get like Jalen Hurts Actually, you don't even need to do that because you already started Stafford this week, and Stafford already hit it off for us. All right. Like Stafford came through, and obviously we're not super excited starting Stafford in the long term, but he just dropped 25.5 points for us this week. So, actually, I think you leave this team as is. I mean, if you fall to 1-4, then at that point it's like, hey, let's sell Trevion. Let's sell Lamar for any running back upgrade that we can get to help us in the starting lineup right now, assuming Lamar is going to miss another week. Now, our next one is PD Ace for the flex. No Evans, no London, no Bijan. I'll go Godwin here. Godwin had 10 targets last week. I'm going to play him over Henderson. Stone Cold Fox. We're going to go with Chase Brown, Woody Marks, Michael Carter, up to you. I know most people would want Woody Marks. Wide receiver, give me J-Mo. Tight end, give me Kelsey. And then for the flex, I'm going to go with the running back. But I think we may call this live stream here. We were able to get through all the start sit trade questions. We're going to try to stream for a super long time tomorrow, and we're going to live stream for over 5 hours on Sunday morning. So I'm going to be able to save my voice for that. We're going to do a dedicated Dynasty stream as well to get through some of these Dynasty teams tomorrow. So we're going to do 2 live streams tomorrow. So then we'll call it a day. But again, y'all can see that the vast majority of questions that I answer in every single one of these live streams are the free questions. So, of course, you can get those by winning them in the chat by just hanging out with us. So make sure you drop a like, you subscribe, come out to these live streams, win free questions. I'm going to be live streaming every single day answering fantasy football questions until Christmas. If you wanted to get guaranteed free questions, you always can do so by taking advantage of the offer on Underdog Fantasy, where if you use promo code FLOCK when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy, you are going to get $100 added to your account after you play your first 5. And on top of that, you'll get a free Drake May pick, higher or lower half a total yard for the game against the Bills. And you'll get free questions in the live streams that we are doing every single night. But I really appreciate you and really hope we get to see you out in that live stream tomorrow. And yeah, we'll try to go as long as we can so we can answer as many of your questions as possible and send out as many of those free questions as possible. And I'll see you then.